I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever wished you could learn something new in the blink of an eye? Just snap your fingers and instantly become an expert? Maybe when you were a kid, you dreamed of nailing that perfect backflip or mastering a viral dance move to impress your friends. But as we grew up here in the fast-paced world of America, where we're used to on-demand everything from movies to music, our learning needs have evolved. Today, we're not just chasing quick thrills, we're after skills that really matter in the long run, like cutting-edge tech, business strategies, or even mastering a new language. In this video, I'm going to reveal why our traditional methods of learning are leaving us stuck, and how switching from just passively taking in information to actively doing and teaching can completely transform your ability to learn. Stick around, because what you're about to discover might just be the game changer you've been waiting for. The dream of instant learning versus the realities of skill acquisition. Many of us once dreamed of being able to learn anything instantly, as if we could absorb all knowledge in a single moment. However, once we step into the real world, we gradually realize there are no shortcuts to mastery. In reality, learning isn't just about memorizing or quickly taking in information. It's a process of steadily building knowledge through consistent practice and real-life experiences. The issue is that most of us don't learn as efficiently as we could. Our education system often teaches us to cram for exams, only for us to forget everything soon after the test. Memorization doesn't equate to deep understanding or the ability to apply what we've learned in practical situations. That's why it's essential to shift our focus from simply absorbing information to actively using and applying our knowledge. Why passive input falls short. Let's be honest, how many of you have spent hours reading, listening, or watching tutorials only to feel like nothing sticks? The issue here is that we concentrate too much on input activities like reading and watching, while neglecting output activities like practicing, doing, and even teaching. Imagine trying to learn how to swim solely by reading a book on swimming techniques. Sure, you might understand the theory, but the moment you jump into the water, you'll likely flounder because you've never actually practiced. This is where the real magic of learning comes into play, getting your hands dirty. Effective learning is an active process. It's about doing, testing yourself, and even explaining what you've learned to someone else. This active involvement not only helps you understand the material better, but also solidifies it in your memory. Key learning principles: the 80-20 rule, active recall, and the spacing effect. Now let's dive into some powerful strategies that can supercharge your learning. The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, this rule suggests that 80% of your results come from just 20 of your efforts. For example, when learning a new language, focus on mastering the 1,000 most common words instead of trying to memorize 10 of them. These core words will cover the majority of everyday conversations. Similarly, if you're learning guitar, get comfortable with basic chords before moving on to complicated solos. Active recall. Instead of passively rereading your notes or watching the same video repeatedly, challenge yourself to recall the information without looking. It's like weightlifting for your brain. The more you actively engage with the material, the stronger your memory becomes. Spacing effect. Instead of cramming for hours in one sitting, break your study sessions into smaller, regular intervals. Studying for 30 to 60 minutes a day throughout the week is far more effective than one long marathon session. Each time you revisit the material, your brain strengthens its connections. Much like carving a well-trodden path through the woods, by integrating these principles, you'll notice a significant improvement in how well you understand and retain information. The importance of deliberate practice and hands-on learning. Let's talk about practice. There's a saying that learning is a contact sport. In other words, you have to actively engage with the material to really master it. This means not just rereading or passively consuming content, but deliberately practicing what you've learned. Consider learning to draw. If you keep sketching the same character over and over, you'll only improve on that one subject. Instead, challenge yourself to draw hands, follow sandal faces, or complex perspectives. It might be uncomfortable at first, but this deliberate practice targets your weak spots and speeds up your improvement. Another effective method is to teach what you've learned. It might sound counterintuitive, but explaining a concept in your own words forces you to organize your thoughts and solidify your understanding. Even if you're just recording yourself explaining a topic, this practice can highlight any gaps in your knowledge and help you fill them in. Engaging multiple senses and creating an optimal learning environment. Learning isn't just about what you do with your mind. It's also about engaging all your senses. When learning a new language, for instance, don't limit yourself to reading. Listen to native speakers, watch videos, write down phrases, and practice speaking out loud. The more senses you involve, the stronger the neural connections you build. Also, pay attention to your learning environment. Eliminate distractions like your phone or unnecessary browser tabs. A quiet, dedicated study space can make a huge difference. And don't forget about rest. Your brain needs time to process and consolidate information. Quality sleep is just as crucial as active practice. Pulling all-nighters might seem productive, but they ultimately sabotage your memory and understanding. Cultivating a growth mindset and setting clear goals. A critical component of effective learning is adopting a growth mindset, the belief that you can improve with effort over time. If you constantly tell yourself that you're bad at learning, you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, shift your mindset to, I can't do this yet, but I will improve with practice. This simple change in perspective can open up a world of possibilities. Setting small, achievable goals is equally important. Break down your learning objectives into manageable tasks and celebrate each milestone. Whether it's mastering a set of vocabulary words, nailing a new chord on the guitar, or successfully coding a simple program, every accomplishment releases a little burst of dopamine, the feel-good hormone that motivates you to keep going. To sum it all up, real learning isn't about instant gratification. It's a process of constant practice, active engagement, and continuous improvement. Remember, you won't master a skill by just reading about it. You have to practice, experiment, and sometimes even teach it to truly understand it. Embrace the process, focus on the core principles, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself.